function. So yeah, before starting function, let's start doing some warm-up exercise, I would say, about Python and the Pythonic way. So, but yeah, before that, make sure everyone is typing out simultaneously with me. So are you all there with me? Just mention yes in your chat box, because these sessions are hands-on, as you all know. So I want each and every one of you to type out simultaneously with me. So yeah, quick yeses. Kushan, Ruchita is ready. Great. Rest all? Brijesh is ready. Great. Yeah. Cool. Fine. So make sure you're having Python 3 version installed in your system, and there we go. We'll start typing it out. So if you're using Windows, make sure you're opening your command prompt, and if you're using Ubuntu or any Linux system, so you can use terminal there. So I've just opened terminal here, and I'm typing out a command as Python 3, as my Python 3 version is installed. So it's Python 3.7.3 version in my system. I clear the screen by pressing Control and L. So yeah, great. So before doing the whole Python thing, let's do something basic. Okay, so let's take an example. If, as you all know, there are predefined keywords in Python. Let's say like if is a keyword, or for is a keyword, while is keyword, or input, int. These are the keywords. String, so str or string is a keyword. Okay, list is a keyword. So these are the predefined keywords in Python. Okay, so you cannot change this. You cannot use this anywhere else. And if you use it, it's gonna be a messy programming code for you. So make sure you're not messing with these keywords. So let's start doing out something like if we have got a keyword, and if we are writing a program which needs to show whether this particular thing we are writing down is a keyword, or which or this is not a keyword. So let's say if you are mentioning if, so we have to mention that this is a keyword. Okay, just like that. So how you will do this in basic way, and how you will do this in Pythonic way. Yeah, Srinivas has joined. Okay, welcome Srinivas. We have just started the session, so you have not missed out anything. So we are just doing a warm-up for our today's session. So yeah, two ways, as I told you, a basic way, basic coding way, and second is Pythonic way. So whatever program we write down in Python is basically called as Pythonic way. So let's start typing it down in basic way. So we are making a list of all the keywords. So let's say print is a keyword. You can use single inverted commas, double inverted commas, single quotes, double quotes, doesn't matter. It's the same in Python. So print is there, then I'd say input is there, then any loop I can take, while loop. Make sure you're typing out simultaneously with me. For loop, then def. So you must be wondering what def. Def is used in function, and we'll be covering it shortly, but make sure you are typing out with me. Def is used, a keyword used in while taking a function, user-defined function. So I'll be discussing about it, don't worry. So we have got this set or list of keywords in Python, and let's say value equals to input, enter the word. It means that we are asking the user to enter some word. Okay, so let's say the word is whichever you want. Okay, you can use it which is mentioned in this list, or you can use something which is not mentioned in this list. So let's say if we go for, okay, yeah, so for element in L1, this means nothing but for every element in the list L1. So like print, input, while. So we're defining it for this one. Uh-oh. Okay. I mistakenly wrote down FOE instead of FOR, and that's why Python has mocked me. So we have entered in for loop. So just by pressing a tab button, we are doing indentation. It means we are entering in for loop. If element equals to value, which means if this element, if any element is equals to the value that we have given, that means this, then what is going to show? It will print the keyword. Okay, just to make you all clear, this is not the function. We have not started function yet. We are just, I'm just giving you a quick revision or to revise you basically about Python, because it's been a week. So I thought I should give you this exercise. Okay, then we'll break the statement. You can use break, or even if you cannot, what will happen is this will keep on running the loop. So that's the reason we are using break here, as we all discuss about break and continue statement in our controls flow and control statement, I guess the third lecture. So yeah, and will be, yeah, see. So here for was inside, so that's why it's a keyword. Else we can, if we can take else. Okay, if it's not a keyword, so we can take here else, which will show that it's not a keyword. Okay, so as simple as that. So that's how it works. So after if, immediately instead of mentioning break, if you mention just parallelly to the if statement, if you mention else statement as else and print it's not a keyword. If you're printing anything instead of this 5, it will consider it as it's not a keyword, as simple as that. So this was a basic typical coding way, and how you're going to do this in Pythonic way. So let's start doing it. If value, as you all know, value we have mentioned here, enter the word, and here the word is for. Okay, if value, so I'm doing this. Okay, I'll leave some space so that you'll get to know the difference. So let's do if value in L1. That simply means that if the value is in L1 or it is equal to L1, it will print keyword, or it's a keyword, whatever you want to get printed. Else, ELSE, tab, it means we are entering in the else loop, print not a keyword. See, it's a keyword. You can simply write down value as again write this term to take another value and check whether it's fitting in it or not. So you must be wondering what are the list of keywords here. So just by going into the help section of Python, you will get to know that what are the list of predefined keywords in Python. Okay, so there are, I guess, around 30, 40, I'm not sure. So these are the list of the inbuilt keywords in Python, which we cannot change or which we cannot modify. So that's it. So now let's go to the main session. Before that, those who have joined newly, just mention those, those are the students who are joining for the first time today. Just mention yes in the chat box so that I'll get to know. And don't worry, even if it's your first session, you're not missing out anything. And I'm sure at the end of today's session, you will be confidently able to write functions in Python, I'd say code functions in Python very confidently, because as you all know, Python is pretty user-friendly, and it is pretty close to the human language, that is English. It's pretty closer to English. So yeah, let's start. I'll clear the screen by pressing Ctrl and L. So yeah, starting about function. So can anyone just tell me what is function, or should I tell by myself? Hi, this side Jyoti. Hi Jyoti, welcome. We have just started the session, so don't worry, you are not missing out anything. Make sure you are typing out the code simultaneously with us. So yeah, what is function? Anyone, quickly mention in your chat box. What do you understand by knowing function? Block of code. Madhu, exactly, Madhu. Function is nothing but to be reused. Exactly. So yeah, I got it. It's reused. No issues. So block of code as in any set of code that you need to use multiple times, or you feel that this block of code I need to use repetitively. So instead of writing it down again and again and all over again, what you can simply do is you can just mention that code, write it down somewhere, okay, inside the function, give the name to the code as function. Okay, you define it under a function. Okay, that's why it's called as user defined function. You define it under a function, and whenever you want, you can call the function. Whenever you want that set of code to run, you can simply call the function and it will be getting executed inside Python. Okay, so yeah, there are two types of functions in Python, which are built-in function and user-defined. Built-in functions as in those functions we have seen. So you know the what I can say, the list, functions of list, functions of string, functions inside tuples that we have covered. These functions are nothing but built-in functions. So they come as a package inside Python. Okay, so they already come whenever you download Python in your system. Those packages come automatically, and whenever we call it, whenever we call what I can say, list L1 is a number of inputs in a random order. Okay, so anything 2 4 1 7 3 8. Okay, and if you want to sort it, so it will be L1 dot sort. That's it. So dot sort is a function which is already predefined in your system, which the package of that system or the code has already been installed in your Python. So it just extracts it and give it to you in front of you. So that's what Python does. So these are built-in functions which are already defined. And then comes user-defined function. Okay, user-defined functions, which mean we want to utilize function. We want to use it in specific way. So that's where the user-defined function works. Okay, so pretty simple. So let's start typing out something as a function in Python. But before that, I just want you all to know that writing down function needs a main specific keyword which is called as def in Python. Okay, so def is nothing but define. Okay, so it's a user defined function, so that's why we need to define something. So that's why it's called as user defined function. So yeah, let's start typing it down. Make sure you're typing out simultaneously with me as it's a hands-on session. So yeah, let's take an example. So as you all know, we have discussed about what Python is, I'm sorry, function is, why it is used. Now let's start how to take value of function and how to utilize it inside a code. So let's say val equals to int. I hope you all know, as we have discussed in your previous section, how to take the val. Enter values. Okay, or any value. Make sure you're completing all the braces. If you don't complete, it's gonna show an error. Okay, so you have taken 2 braces. So what we have done simply here, we are taking an input from user, that too in integer form. Okay, so we want the input. Else we all know that basically the input which we take in Python is basically taken in string format, as we all have discussed previously. So here we are taking, why double quotes and not single quotes? Madhu has asked me. Hi Madhu. So double quotes and single quotes are same in Python. Okay, but here while taking input you have to take double quotes. Okay, but basically in other cases, if you are using list or string, okay, or anything, there you can mention either double quote or single quote. It's the same thing, but just for taking the input, make sure you are using double quotes. Okay, so that's predefined thing in Python which we cannot help. So yeah, so here cool, great. Yeah, So here we have taken input from use. We are taking input from user, that to in integer format. So enter value, whatever value you want to enter, let's say 12. Okay. Now we are going to introduce function. So function starts with def. Function is a pretty magical thing. So I always name my function as magic. You want whichever name you want to give, even if your name you want to give to your function, you can give, but I generally prefer magic. So here we are defining a function which is called as magic, okay, which has the val, which means this val, okay. So this value is coming under the function magic, okay. So this magic contains value, and the value here is 12. So ultimately, inside the magic function, the value which is given is 12, okay. I'll explain what this all means in detail with you shortly, but let's just type out the code first. RETURN. Let's say I want to give the 10th multiple of the given value, okay. So what we'll basically do in Python, basic Python, is we will mention this statement, will enter the value. Then what we'll show is val equals to val into 10, okay. But here it's as simple as val into 10, okay. Exit from the diff, that is the function. We'll mention answer as magic of val. Don't worry, I'll explain everything to you, okay. And then we'll print the answer. Boom. So yeah, you must be wondering that this is nothing but a whole huge set of code, which is even bigger than simply multiplying val equals to val into 10. But trust me, when it comes to a huge set of code, you know, when you have to run the code, which is pretty huge, there this thing works like magic, seriously. So that's why here our function is pretty small, that we are simply multiplying it by 10. But when it comes to some huge interactions, when we need to do some huge block of code, we need to implement it, their function plays very important role. So that's the reason we use it. So what we have done here, we have taken a value in the form of integer from user. We have defined a function magic, which contains the val, okay, which contains the value which we have taken from user. In function, you can return the value, or you cannot. Even if you don't return the value, doesn't matter. But here we wanted the value to get multiplied by 10. That's why we are returning it, okay. Even if you would have put val equals to val into 10, that would have worked, okay. So it's your call whether to use the return statement or whether to do it without return statement, okay. Then we have come out of the this function. We are storing the answer of this magic, I mean this function, inside answer, okay. And then we are printing answer. If you simply print, okay, we have already, okay, if we simply print magic, you want to see what happens? See, we simply get the location of this answer, okay. So it means this answer 120, it's stored at this memory location, okay. And if we do print magic and this, it will show an error. Why? Because the value here which is mentioned, magic missing one, require positional argument val. See, here val is missing, so that's the reason it's not showing us the value. Now let's experiment this. We have got the value. So if you don't want to store the value somewhere, so you can simply take it in this way, okay. You can simply print the magic value, you will get the answer. But what if the value is in multiple form? What if the value is not just a single output 120? It's a list, or list which contains lot many elements, okay. So there we need to store that value somewhere, and there this thing doesn't work. So there we have to store it in some form, and then we can extract it by just printing whatever list or string or tuple that we have mentioned, okay. So yes, that's how it works. Now, what would be the next thing we would do is, yeah, here I would love to tell you that this val, this val and this val is not same, okay. Because not same as in here, we call the we execute the function, we mention the function, and here we call the function basically. So generally it is called as here it is called as formal parameter, and this is called as actual parameter. Formal means basically we are just doing the formality, we are just mentioning the value, we are just giving the value to the function, and here we are calling the value. That's why it called as actual function. So where the function is actually getting executed. That's why you all need to know here is this is a formal function and this is actual function. Actual parameter, or you can call it argument. So basically, as I remember in C and C++, we basically used to call it as formal argument or uh, actual argument or parameter. So that's the same thing in Python, nothing different. So yeah, that's how basic Python is, or basic function in Python is, user-defined function. So let's move on to the next thing. If any one of you was there in last session, I guess it was, if I'm not wrong, it was Kushang who solved the question which I gave in last to last session. That generally, so I'll just have a quick recap. So Kushang, I guess if you were the one who solved this, just mention yes in the chat box, the sorting problem. Yeah, I remember. So yeah, generally what happens is if we sort a list, okay, so list has to be in the list generally contains all kind of data types altogether. Okay, so list contains string, or list contains uh, integers or alphabets, characters, altogether variable. It can contain anything in it. Okay, so you can mention 21 comma a, your name, anything in the list. Okay, but when it comes to sorting of list, we need to sort it using one parameter only, as in using one data type only. Because see, if you're sorting numbers from 1 to 100, if numbers are stored in list randomly, sorting is done only for single data type, right? So let's say if you have number from 1 to 10 as 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 7, 10, anything like that. And if you want to sort it, we would simply do L1 equals to the set of numbers that we have got and print L1 dot sort. Okay, so that's how the list will immediately get sorted. And remember the set of block of code it used to take to sort a number using quick sort, merge sort, bubble sort, in C and C++, or all these other programming languages. But in Python, it's just a one-line thing, which gives you code within a fraction of seconds. It gives you data sorted within a fraction of seconds. But basically, this sorting is done for same data type, which means we sort functions either in integer or we solve functions either in alphabets A, B, C, D, like that. Okay, what if we want to sort it in alphabets as well as in integers? So if we have got a list which contains both alphabet and integers, 1A, 3Z, 4B, something like that, and if you want to sort it, so that question I asked, that was a, I could say, an assignment I gave, and Kushang was the one who solved it that time, and we discussed about it. It contains two main terms basically. First one is lambda function it uses, which we are going to discuss within next 2 minutes, and it also has ease instance. Okay, it had ease instance. So ease instance we'll be covering in our next to next session, which is uh, dictionaries. Yeah, we'll be covering it inside dictionaries, so make sure you are also attending next to next session. So in dictionaries we will actually discuss about the solution of this question. So yeah, the whole basic reason for recalling whole this thing was because lambda function. So there, I guess I'm damn sure many of you were confused what this happened in that code. So yeah, now I'm gonna tell you what is lambda function. So lambda function is another magic in functions of Python, I would say, because what happens in lambda function is it just executes the code in single line. So instead of writing down this whole 4 5 line statement, okay, this whole 4 line statement, Python gives you the chance to write the code just in one line by using lambda function. Okay, so we'll be discussing about lambda function. So I'll just clear the screen. Is everyone with me? Just mention yes in chat box quickly, because I want you all to type out it simultaneously with me. Yeah. A quick yes from your side in the chat box. Great. Okay, cool. So let's type out what I can say. Let's type out the function, lambda function. But before writing down lambda function, I just want to give you the difference between lambda function and normal function. So let's write down a code. Let's say if you want to do multiplication of two numbers, okay, and those two numbers are, we are asking the user so to give us the input of two numbers. So let's type it out. So we are defining a function. Again, I'll use magic. You can use multiply, anything, whichever you want. Magic of x comma y. It means we are taking two variables inside this magic function. Okay, now we have entered in the magic function and we are just going to return x into y. This is called as normal function. Now do the magic of whichever number you want to give. 11 into 5. So answer has to be 55. Uh-oh, magic missing one required positional argument y. How is that possible? Just hold on. Most recent call last. Uh-oh. Okay. Comma. Yep, I forgot the comma. Got it. Thanks. Yeah. That's how it works. So because here we have mentioned the magic in this format. Okay, we have taken two inputs by separating it with comma. We have applied this function. So here what mistake I did was I simply tried to multiply it, which was not needed because we have already mentioned the operation here. So we are only supposed to mention whatever input we want. So here x equals to 11, y equals to 5. And in return, it gives us 11 into 5, that is 55. Okay, as simple as that. So we have got the output as 55. Now let's do the same function in lambda form. Okay, so let's type it out as magic equals to, again, lambda is a keyword here. Okay, so keep it in mind. Lambda x comma y. Okay, where x into y. So basically, generally Python is a language where you don't have to remember a lot many syntaxes. Okay, so basically these syntaxes are very user friendly, or as I told you, closer to basic English language. So here also you can simply get it. What has happened here? We have mentioned a function which is named as lambda function, where it takes two parameters from user, x and y, and what function or what operation they are supposed to perform is x into y. Okay, that's it. Now we are going to call this lambda function. So here we have defined the function, and here we have called the function. Okay, so formal parameter x and y here are formal parameter, and 11 and 5 here is actual parameter. So magic, whatever number you want to give, 2, 8, 16. As simple as that. That's how magic works. So here the code of 4 to 5 lines is getting sorted just within a single line. That's the magic of lambda function, and that's how it works. So if you try to solve some lengthy problems or lengthy coding, their lambda function is really useful. So it is really preferable to use lambda function there. So this is one part. I'm sorry. This is a one part of lambda function. So yeah, just start doing some another code in lambda function. So here we have simply done multiplication of two numbers, and let's try to do the half part of the question we had that time. Okay, so previously the question of how to solve how to sort the list which contains both numbers, integers and string, okay, or alphabets, that is string, integers and string. So let's try to do one part of it as of now, and we'll be covering the whole answer of that question and similar question in the dictionaries lecture. So as of now, let's try to cover this thing. So what if we have a list which contains numbers in random order and we want to sort the numbers, okay? So let's take a list L1 or whatever name you want to give, which contains number from anything randomly, okay? 27, 50, whatever number you want to give, you just mention here, okay? You can even give 0, doesn't matter, but just to make it look better. So yeah, this is the list we have mentioned here and we want to sort it immediately. So without wasting a single minute, let's write it down. Okay, let's not give it a name as sorting. We are doing a hierarchy of list here. Okay, so number are going to get shuffled here, swap here. So here swapping of list is going to happen. So that's why let's name it as something unique, hierarchy. So which means we are sorting this list. We are shuffling, swapping the elements here. In short, doing the hierarchy. Equals to lambda x such as. This means x such as. Okay, x dot sort function we are using. As simple as that. We have done nothing but sorting the list here, just by giving it a name of as hierarchy. So instead of hierarchy, you cannot mention sort here. Okay, so if you mention sort here, this sort which is predefined and this sort if you use here, that going to mess the whole coding. Okay, so it's preferred if you are using any other name. If you want sorting, even you can use. Okay, now let's call hierarchy. Let's do hierarchy of L1. Here we have just mentioned what happens in this function. Okay, so in hierarchy, what happens is things get shuffled and sorted. And now we are doing the sorting of L1. That's it. Now let's print L1. Boom, list has got printed. So in any way, if you want this to get printed, you can simply use it in this way. So whatever thing you want to sort, if you want to use some other function, you can simply, so we have learned many, I guess we learned around 18 to 20 functions in one lecture of string. We learned 11 to 12 functions of list, and we learned 8 to 10. So almost 90% of the functions we have covered yeah, in our previous sessions. Function as in predefined function. Okay, so you can use any function using inside lambda function itself. So that's the beauty of lambda function, I'll say, where you get a chance to use literally any kind of function, and which gives you an authority to use it in whichever way you want to run a code in more I'd say in more sophisticated way, or to get the program executed in the shorter time. Okay, so if you apply for competitive coding for the companies like Google, Microsoft, the main thing that matters to them is complexity. So you need to have minimum complexity of code, minimum time it should take, and minimum memory it should take. Okay, so there Python works like a magic again, because Python, as we all have discussed, it takes the number of memory. So if we try to define a function, define an array, let's say in C, so there we have to mention the length of that array. So whatever input, we have to mention a1 equals to array equals to a1, which has the size. So we need to mention the size of array. So if the size is 10, and if it contains only 5, the array contains only 5 elements, so rest 5 elements are, the location is getting vested, the memory is getting vested. But here in C, you don't have to predefine anything as such. You don't have to mention the size of list, size of array. So arrays and lists are same, as you all know, in Python. So That's why you don't need to mention it differently. And there, how Python works, there, that's the reason, whatever inputs you're adding, it increases the size of list automatically. So that's the beauty of Python, and that's the reason it is mostly, getting used worldwide as of nowadays. So the best language, as far as I know, till the date. So Python is considered as one of them. It uses less memory, it uses less time, and definitely less tension to us while coding. So yeah, let's do the further thing. So we have seen Lambda function. Don't worry, we'll be solving uh, various problems on Lambda function when we proceed to our next session. So Lambda function is something which is just like list and string, which we have to recall in every session. So that's why we'll be covering most, like many other examples from Lambda in our upcoming sessions. But as of now, as we are running out of time, and which we don't want to happen, so that's why these are the two examples we have taken of Lambda function. Make sure you're practicing it at home by taking various kind of scenarios, and you can solve it simultaneously. So let's move to the print formatting. So basically, as we all remember, the print formatting we done earlier, like we are giving basic syntax, whatever syntax we want to give to us, to our output. Like if we want two curly braces, and there inside that we want our input to get printed, in short, designing our output. So let's say I want to design my name Rutuja Kulkarni by mentioning a lot of stars and hashtags to it. So that comes under what I can say, print formatting. So in Python, in functions of Python, we have dot print formatting. And how it works, if you want to see, so let's start typing out simultaneously with me. So yeah, I'll just clear the screen for your better understanding. Let's move on to dot print formatting. So in short, what happens is we give some particular format to our output, and whatever output we are giving, uh, it gets printed, or it gets displayed in that format only. So yeah, simply print it. We just have to print it. And let's give some curly braces, more curly braces, in whatever way you want. Okay. Dot format is as same as the dot formatting we did earlier. The yeah, it's pretty similar to the print formatting we did earlier, but here comes the beauty of this. Anything you want to type out, you can, okay, instead of, but yeah, this format is again a keyword, so make sure you're not missing it. Okay. Then comes name. And okay, what if I want to print my name in reverse order? Okay, so as we all know, we print it in reverse order using this way. So here, this is nothing but whatever name that we will be mentioning in the next line. Okay, this indicates, I'm sorry, this indicates that we are printing it in reverse order. Okay, so these braces means that we are slicing it down, okay, or we are giving it index. So -1 means we are completely reversing it back, as we all know. So here, if you mention something in first column, as we all know, as we have studied it in all the loops we have done till the day, here the first thing indicates that it's a like what is the input we are giving. This second, which we have kept blank, it means that whatever output you are mentioning, and -1 means the way it has to get printed. Okay, so -1 means the index of our name that we are giving will completely get inverted. Okay, so which means if I'm printing my name Rutuja, okay, so here the index of R is 0, U is 1, and so on and so forth. So it will completely inverse it, okay, and the thing which is there in the end, which U, Rutuja, so A will come first, J will come second, and so on and so forth. Okay, so simply it will reverse the name. So for reversing, we just need to use this format, comma. Again, let's say Uh-oh. I'll simply do it in next line. Yeah, no issues. I'll again use dollar here. We'll cover the braces. I just hope the syntax is same. Format. Or I guess I'm missing out something. Hold on. I guess this, yeah, I was missing one. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah, this is correct now. So we have completed all the braces. We have completed all the codes. Oh. Okay, there is an error. Got it. Because this is our output, and dot format should not come as an output. Cool. So here what it indicates is we are simply printing these three things along with a dot format with this dollars, and our name has to be in reverse way. Again, name is not defined. Let's define the name. Cool. Name equals to, or any name you want to do. Okay. Let me check what's the issue. Okay. Cool. I forgot to mention the braces. And now print. See. Yeah, sorry for your inconvenience. I just hope you are not getting confused. What error? We will discuss about errors. Okay, so Python is a language which we always need to experiment. So even if you are getting any errors, don't don't get panic. It gets immediately resolved. So what happened here is this thing was supposed to come as an output. So here the format was wrong, which I cleared it here. So all the braces were supposed to come inside the double quotes, so which have come here. So generally this line, what it's indicating is in this first braces, the first dollar is going. In the second braces, name in inverted form is going. And in the third braces, another dollar is going. So in whichever format you want, instead of dollar, if I wanted to use hash or multiple stars, so or at the rate, you can use any. So it generally gets used to, make our output more fancy. So you must be saying in many while filling any form, you get, whenever you fill some form, so while generating the output, you get the output in various stars, including various stars. Or if any program is ending, so we get the end in with various symbols with it. So as simple as that. If you want to make your output more fancy, you can use this in this way, but that's not the only use of this dot formatting. The main use of dot formatting is it simply uses a dot format. Okay, so it basically used to gain the data in whatever way we want, okay, and modify it in whatever way we want. So just to modify our output as per the user requirement, we use, and that too in one single line, we use dot format. So that's how it has worked here. I'll clear the screen for your better understanding. Let's do the inverse of cyberfrat. Okay, so name we have mentioned cyberfrat here. We are applying the same thing, and we'll get the output as star fray bice. Okay, so you can get your inverse of your name in pretty funnier way. So yeah, that's how it works. So this is called as dot functioning. You can practice some more example with this. Okay, so instead of just reversing it if you want to apply more slicing and indexing, as we have learned already earlier how to do slicing and indexing of a string. Cyberfrat is a string here. Okay, so this slicing and indexing, and if you want to apply some other functions, you can apply it and see how this whole thing works. Okay, let's go to the next thing. Okay, so we will be going to the next part of function, which is called as closure. Okay, give it a closure now. So let's see what closure means. So before that, just to explain you what closure is, I want to give you an example of it in basic way. Okay, so generally what closure means is it's a nested function. Okay, so as we all know, nested for loop, nested if loop. So in the same way, there is nested function which is simply called as closure. So we'll start typing out some coding. I'll clear the screen. I hope you get it. Okay, thanks Kushan for helping once again. I'll clear the screen and let's move on to the next pretty simpler part, which is nothing but, yep, just hold for a sec. Yeah, I got the closure. Okay, let's type out simultaneously with me. So we'll first do the nested for loop, then we'll do nested while loop. No, we'll do nested if loop, because for and while are pretty simple, pretty similar. It just changes a bit of syntax. So we'll do nested for loop, then we'll do nested if loop, and then we'll get to know how nested loop works, and then we'll apply nested function, okay, which is called as closure. So nested for loop, as we all have seen, is nothing but the pattern we do. We implement the Python as pyramid of star, 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 or type out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that kind of thing. So nested for loop is most probably or mostly it is used while creating Python pattern, okay, in any programming language. So I remember the first pattern I drew was in my 10th standard. So yeah, so that was a pyramid of star, star, star. Okay, so before that, we'll do a pretty simple pattern. So though this is not a part of the syllabus, but I would love to take this example of pattern, because pattern is pretty interesting thing. Just within 2 blocks or 2 lines of code, we need to use our brain, and just by changing a single word or single statement, the whole way of pattern, the whole form of pattern changes, and it makes the whole pattern pretty different than the other. Okay, so make sure whenever you're printing any pattern, make sure you're doing it in a correct way, and keep cross-checking this. As I told you earlier, um, in Google or any other programming competitive coding exams, if you apply for, so there you have to do dry run. Okay, there you won't get any system to type out your code and check it. There you have to literally take out your pen and pencil or a whiteboard, and you need to write down your code, and you need to run it down orally in your mind, or by taking pen and paper with you. So that's how dry run works, and this term is basically called as dry run. So here also, make sure whenever you're writing any drawing any pattern, especially using Python, make sure before printing it, you are dry running it. So you will get to know what is the basic mindset you need to use to change the pattern. So yeah, without wasting a single minute, let's code a for loop. For I, as you all know, it means that for any input I in the range of, let's say, let's print a block of stars of 4, a 4 by 4 of block. If you want to print, it means star, 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 4 by 4, a block of stars that we want to print. So how we are going to print it? We are taking the range of 4, okay, and inside the for loop, we are pressing tab for the indentation. It means we have entered in the for loop. Let's take a J loop now. J means it's the other index. I can say other margin that we are using. So here I means it's for rows and j means it's for columns. So I will implement the horizontal input outputs, and j will implement the vertical output. For j, again in range of 4. Oh, thank God. Cool. What we have to print is print. Let's print star, which looks pretty simple and sweet, and end it. Okay. If, as we all know, end means we get the output in the same line. Okay. So it means once this j for loop runs, it will give us the output in the same line. So after star, this end means that for the next loop, it's giving a space. Okay. So if you don't mention star, the whole program output or the pattern is going to get compact, and it will give us a pretty, closed output of pattern. So if you want to have space in all the patterns in proper symmetric way, there we use end, as we all have discussed earlier as well. So there we are using end, and again we just going to print it below the for loop. You must be wondering why we are using print here, because this print here was for j loop. Okay, it means that for the first line it will print this star. Okay, now what to move for second line? Then again it will print the whole output. It will again go out of the j loop. It will enter in for loop again. Yeah, it will again enter the for loop. Again it will enter the j loop, as you all know how the pattern works. Okay, that's why we are printing. If we don't mention print, you want to see what happens? It's definitely going to give our output in the straight line, because it will only implement in this for loop. Okay, so let's see how it works. See, we have got the output in this way. This is not at all any pattern. So just to get a pattern, we are parallelly doing it for the J loop. It means this output is going to run, this printing output is going to run the for loop. So let's print it. Boom. We have got a sweet star pattern. As simple as that. So that's how it works. I hope you understood this simple example of nested for loop. We have taken for inside for, so it's called as nested for loop. Now let's do a nested if statement. Okay, I'll clear the screen. If you make literally any single change, it's gonna change the whole pattern. If you take range in minus form, it will change the pattern. If you take change the size of range, again it's going to change the pattern. So you can keep experimenting the patterns, and it will help you to write better code in pattern format. Okay, so make sure you're practicing pattern also, as it's mainly used in competitive programming, like for the companies like TCS and Infosys, Capgemini and all. Yeah, now let's do nested if loop. Yeah, I'm taking x as 10. Okay, I've taken a value of x equals to 10. Now what I have to show here is, if the value of input that we are giving is greater than 5, then print yes. If it's greater than 5 and even, then and not even, I would say, then mention not even or odd. Okay, the value greater than 5. Also, if the value is 10, mention yes, it's 10. Okay, so we are applying multiple if loops here, one inside the another. It means if the value is greater than 5. So I'll just show it how it works. If x is greater than 5, we have entered in the if statement where the value of x is greater than 5. Here the value is 10, which is definitely greater than 5. If, by mentioning tab, I have entered in the if statement. Now if x mod 2 equals to 0, which means if x divided by 2, it means 10 divided by 2 equals to 0. Mod 2 means you will get the remainder. Okay, so here if the remainder is 0, which simply indicates that the value is even. Again, oh, okay, I forgot to mention the colon here. Invalid syntax, and it's also showing where we have messed up. Okay, so here I forgot to mention the colon, that's why we are getting this error. Again, I've entered in another if loop. Now if x equals to 10, then print yes, it is 10. Just giving a pretty simpler example for your better understanding. Now here, make sure in a nested loop, in any nested loop, whether it's in for loop, if, or even if you are learning it for the closure statement, make sure that you are putting indentation in proper way. Okay, here indentation is just not for showing purpose. We have entered in this loop, or we have entered in this loop. It's also showing us a pretty simpler thing that this loop is below this. So here, yeah, here we have printed if statement. So the output has been printed here in this line. And if you want to get the output in parallel line, if this line is not working, if x is not equals to 10, so immediately the parallel line of this, which means the else statement, okay, this has to come parallelly. If we are, forgetting to put indentation in proper way, our code is definitely not going to work properly. So make sure you're doing indentation in proper way. So the else statement for this if statement, if x equals to 10, it will going to print yes, it is 10. But what if the x is not equals to 10? So there we have to give a parallel else statement for this. Ma'am, I joined now, so I can get the recorded video. Hi Priyansh, no issues, you're not missing out anything. But yeah, if you are a Cyberfrat Plus member, you will definitely get the recorded session. And if you're not, unfortunately, you won't. So yeah, no issues. Still, you have a great chance to learn a pretty important thing in functions of Python. So yeah, I hope you will enjoy the further thing. So yes, if we'll do the else statement now. Else, what happens if this is not true? Print no, not 10. God. Yeah. Cool. So this loop has been implemented completely, if else statement. Now we have to show else statement for this. Okay, so again, we'll go in the else loop of this, which is parallel to this line. Okay, make sure we are giving else as print odd, because as you all can see here, x mod 2 equals to 0 means it was supposed to print even. Okay, but here it as if the input we give is 9 or 7, so it's supposed to mention odd. You must be wondering if it's even, why it's not supposed to mention even. Okay, so but as we have like designed the program in such a way, if it's even, it will enter in the further loop and it will check whether it's 10 or not. Okay, so that's how it works. So if the number is even, it will enter in the next loop and it will check whether it's 10 or, and it will give the output accordingly. Print odd. And the last statement, which is parallel to this if statement, which means else, enter tab make sure wherever you are printing the print statement, else statement, if statement, you need to be very careful when you are giving indentation. So I'm repeating it a lot of time because indentation plays a major role when it comes to the control flow statements. So print less than 5. Doesn't matter though. Yeah, it is 10. So as we have given the input as x equals to 10, even if you give any other value of x you want, you can mention it and you can write the whole code in that way. Okay, if you mention 9, we'll get the output like this, that it's odd. Okay, so yeah, practice about this thing. This was about nested if loop. So we discussed nested for loop, nested if loop. Now let's move on to the most important main content, which is closure, which is nothing but nested function. Okay, closure is very important concept in functions of Python, because there the user gets chance to run multiple functions inside a function. Okay, so let's start typing it out. I'll clear the screen by mentioning Control L. Def. I'll again take magic. If you are bored, you can take something else. I've entered in the def in the function. So I'll mention indentation by pressing tab button. I'll again give inner function. So here I've created inner function inside magic function. Let's print hello, basic thing. Let us return the print. Again, return is a keyword. I'm sorry, return inner. So yeah, return is a keyword again. Now let's take a shortcut. Equals to magic yeah, and then we will print the shortcut. Can anyone just tell me what will happen if we simply try to print the shortcut in this way? I'll explain it to you how it works, but before that, can anyone tell me what will happen if I do this without typing out? Okay, yeah, quick. If we simply print shortcut in this way, what we are gonna get? I hope you are not typing it out and then executing it and telling me what happens. Anyone? Or should I move forward? Yes, no. Location maybe? Devendra is saying hello. Sorry, Devendra. Brajesh is right. We'll get the location. Exactly. So this line simply indicates that the function magic, okay, locals mean we are calling this function. So in next lecture, we are going to learn, because today as we are running out of time, we'll discuss scope of function in tomorrow's session. So make sure you all are present, because scope of function is very important topic. So you are definitely not supposed to miss it. So locals means nothing but we are calling a value of function inside it. Okay, so we are mentioning hello, printing hello inside the whole function. We are not giving any value outside it. Okay, we are not saying that a equals to hello and then print a. We are not doing anything as such. We are doing it inside a function. That's why it's called as local. Okay, there are 4 types basically: local, global, inbuilt. Okay, and I guess fourth one was forgot. No issues. So yeah, this is a local scope of function. So it simply indicates that we have called magic function, which is in locals, and the name of function is inner, and the inner function is at this memory location. So it means that this value hello is at this memory location. And just to print hello, if we literally want to get this shortcut printed, we'll do nothing but shortcut, and here this braces literally contains the value, trust me. Boom, we have got the value hello here. So yeah, what we have done, we have called a function magic. Inside that we have called another function, okay? And inside inner function, we are simply printing hello. We have written the inner function, okay? So ultimately we have come to the diff function. So this value hello has come to this diff function. Is lambda in Python related to lambda in AWS? Hi Devendra. To be very honest, I have no clue because I'm not good enough in AWS as of now. So, but yeah, lambda is basically a universal term which is used in multiple languages. Okay, so even if it comes to Amazon Web Services, I guess it's the same thing, but I'll just check and let you know in tomorrow's session. I'll definitely let you know the answer. But as per my opinion, if I'm not wrong, it has to be the same thing. I'll just check and let you know in tomorrow's session. Don't worry. So yes, that's how we have printed it. Okay, so here we have called the magic function inside shortcut, and we have got the value of shortcut as hello here. So as you all can see, if we would have lambda is serverless feature of AWS. It also supports Node.js along with Python. Thanks Pranit for the solution. So yeah, ultimately I was not wrong. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so it basically supports Node.js also along with Python. So lambda is, as I told you, a universal function which gets used in many programming languages. So Python is one, Node.js is another. So ultimately it gets used in AWS also. So I hope Devendra you got your answer. Moving on to the next thing, let's do another example of closure. I'll clear the screen. Yeah, let's do another. Thanks Praneeth. Yeah, so yes, let's take another example of closure. Let's consider a scenario where we have got we need to take list of 5 inputs from user. Okay, so here we need to use append, as you all know, in list. So here the list of inputs we are taking list. Yeah, the inputs generally, basically the 5 inputs which we are taking from user, we want to store it in one particular form, okay, in one particular location. So we will definitely store it basically in list, as list contains any form of inputs, like it contains all kinds of data types. So if even if our input is in integer format, string format, so it will get stored properly. So that's why we use list. So now to take inputs from user, let's say we are taking 5 inputs, and we are going to take the input from user definitely, and there we have to call a function. Okay, and while calling a function, let's say we need to eliminate the odd function. Okay, so basically, so in simpler way, our program is basically nothing but we are asking the user to give us 5 values. Okay, and as an output we are just giving the even numbers of it. Okay, so in the list we are just printing the even numbers taken from the user. Okay, so this is nothing but user, like we are taking inputs from user, we are programming it in such a way that we are simply showing the even numbers and we are eliminating the odd numbers. So how to write a Python program, that too in function, in closure? Let's type it out. Let's take a list. So yeah, we have to mention a list, a blank list definitely, because that's what I can say, that's what it implements. That's how our values are gonna get stored. For I in range, you must be wondering what am I doing here. I'm doing nothing but taking the inputs from user one by another. By using for, it means it will take one input from user, then it will apply for loop to it. It will take another user input from user, and it will keep appending it unless it reaches the value 5. Appending means it will simply keep on adding the number until it reaches 5, adding the inputs, I'd say. So the range is nothing but 5. You can take whatever input you want, but basically it has to be 5 because that's what we have asked. Yeah, we have entered inside the for loop. Okay, what has happened? Yeah. No issues, right? Yeah. L1, here we are appending the list. Okay, L1 dot append means we are appending the list. It means whatever input we are taking, we are adding it inside the list. Append does nothing but whatever new term which is coming under the inside the list, it adds it in the end. Okay, so yeah, our inputs are going to get added sequentially in the list. As simple as that. And we are taking this inputs in integer format, int. That's why we are mentioning int. It means we are taking our input in integer format. Enter any 5 numbers. Or let's say enter number, because this will keep executing 5 times. Okay, you will get to know what I mean. How many braces here? 1, 2, 3. So I need to close 3 braces. Cool. So first number, let's say this, second is this, third is this, fourth is this, and fifth is anything that you want to give. Okay, we have given pretty huge numbers. Cool. Now let's apply the function where we need to take out the odd values from this, and we just have to bring the even values in the function. Okay, so in output we just need even values in the list. Def, I'm going to call magic, and the magic of L1. Okay, because we are going to apply this magic function. So whatever operation we are performing under magic function is going to get applied to the list L1. So that's what it says simply. And here L1 is nothing but a local variable. I'll tell you, don't worry. Where is tab? Yeah, the function L1. Now for, FOR, for every element. You can take even I, A, B, C, D, doesn't matter, because this element, it's not the predefined keyword as I say. So instead of element, if you want to even write for I, for A in L1 or for I in L1, it doesn't matter. I've entered in the for loop. If element, make sure you're not writing elements here and element here. Okay, so that's a basic thing. You need to make sure the value, whatever you're mentioning, the keyword has to be same everywhere, else it's going to give you an error. If element mod 2, where is mod? Yeah, 2 is not equals to 0, check for the indentations properly. L1. So we can, for eliminating, as we all know, the opposite of append is remove. Okay, so we are going to apply remove function, which will simply delete the odd numbers. So here element mod 2 is not equals to 0 means the number is giving odd values, and we will remove it. Remove the element. And we are going to print L1 parallel to the for loop. Okay, so inside def, we will run this for loop, and after the for loop gets run, like first, second, third, we will keep printing it. If it's odd number, it will get removed. If it's even number, it will get printed. As simple as that. Boom. We must be wondering why it's not getting printed, because we have not called the function. We need to call the magic function. It doesn't work just by printing the value of list L1. We need to call the magic function to get it executed in front of our eyes. So that will happen simply by printing L1 or by returning the magic function. See, we have got the list of all even numbers here. So in the list of whole 5 numbers, 79 was the odd number. So yeah, you can apply even various, what can I say, you can keep experimenting it if you want these all things to be to get sorted. So here simply you can apply one more loop and you can sort it out immediately in front of your eyes. As simple as that. So if you want to sort this magic function, you can simply do L1.sort and you will get this whole list sorted. So let's even do that. Answer equal to L1.sort. And let's print the answer. So what we have done here, we are sorting the list, this list. None. Okay, got it. Can anyone tell me what's the error here? I'll tell you in the end. But before that, I want to know whether anyone of you knows what has happened here. Why is giving us none? Anyone? Quickly. At least mention yes or no in your chat box so I'll get to know whether I need to explain to you or you know already. Yes, Kushan, tell me then. If you know. Anyone else who knows that what has happened here, why it's giving us the value none? If you know, then answer in the chat box. If you don't know, mention no in the chat box so that I could be able to give you the answer. Pranit doesn't know. We cannot assign list to another variable. Exactly. That's what I was expecting. Sort is a method. Yes, Kushan. So yeah, what problem has occurred here is we are assigning list to another answer here. It means to another variable. That is not possible in Python. As we all discussed in the previous, when we were taking the list session, I have covered this thing that we cannot assign it inside. We cannot assign the list to another number, any other string or any other variable. So that's why we are getting the answer as none. Okay, and what if we want to print this in sorting way? Then we'll have to do this inside the loop itself if you want to get the list printed. Okay, so that's why the list will get, we have to use L1.copy. Yeah, we can, if you really want to print the list, we can simply do it as L2 equals to L1 or L2 equals to L1.copy, and then we'll have to sort it as L2 equals to L1.copy and then L2.sort, and then in the same way we'll get the answer. So that's how, as we all know, sorting works. You can apply any kind of what I would say, any kind of function, the list function that we have learned to this thing. If you want to remove this element, so as we all know, we do slicing and indicing. So just mention remove and the index of this, that is 0. This number will get removed in your list. So it means you can upgrade the list. You can modify the list in whichever way you want. Not just list, whatever thing you want to do, you can keep experimenting in Python. Even if you are getting errors, don't worry. Python is a language of experimenting. So it's so simple that it even shows you the errors are even pretty simpler in Python. So whatever errors you are getting, it's pretty easy to understand to the coder where we are getting error. As we have seen, we also have got many errors here, but at the very next line we were able to solve it in every single error. Okay, we were 100% able to solve it. So yeah, that's how it works. So yes, that's it for today's session. In tomorrow's session, we are covering scope of variable, how it is used. So make sure you're attending it. And I just hope you like today's session. Tell